Good morning, everybody. Welcome to once again Rise with the Wealth Warriors, and we have an epic show for y'all today. I am so pleased. And Dan, do we have a show for you? Daniel, hit it up.
What's up, everyone? Good morning, all the Wealth Warriors. Okay, today is a special event. Okay, me and Nate have been waiting for this day for a long time. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you watch all the way to the end. Okay, Nate, talk about what we have for everybody today.
So, massive introduction, guys. Here, Dan Henry is the founder of GetClients.com, author of Wall Street Journal and US Today, best-selling book Digital Millionaire Secrets. Dan has helped entrepreneurs sell their advice and services online for high ticket price. He has been featured on Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, Business Insider, and more. Dan knows the struggle. He once had to sell water bottles on the side of the road just to survive, but he did not give up and eventually built an 8-figure empire. Since then, his company has helped thousands of entrepreneurs turn their dreams into realities. I want to introduce y'all Dan frickin' Henry. How's it going, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing? How you guys doing?
Good. We are thrilled. We are thrilled to have you on the show, man.
This is insane. So, Daniel, hit it up, man.
Yeah, let's jump right into it, okay? So we have a lot of viewers today. So Nate, you control the comments, okay? So we're gonna ask the very first question. Dan, so in your recent training to us and also to your students in your community, I saw one video that talk about there's one person you should never trust if you want to get rich, right? So can you use that as a topic and also share with us about your story? Who is that one person you should never trust if we want to get to your level?
Absolutely. So if you were to have, let's say, a girlfriend, and this girlfriend consistently ghosted you on dates, cheated on you, lied to you, etc., 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 would you trust her? Absolutely not. If you had a friend who always bailed on you, didn't show up, didn't do what he said, would you trust that person? No, you wouldn't.
No.
Now, what do you think happens when you consistently don't show up for yourself? You say you're going to do something. You say you're going to get up at 6 a.m. You say you're going to go to the gym. You say you're going to read one chapter of a business book every day, et cetera, and you fail to do that. You don't show up for yourself. You lie to yourself. And as you lie to yourself, you begin to not trust yourself. So when a good opportunity does come, when something that could work lands in your lap, when you have the opportunity to learn a skill that could completely change it for you, even if it would work, you do not trust yourself, execute on it, and so you don't do it, and so you continue to fail, trust yourself even less, and you don't get anywhere. The person who you should trust the least to become a millionaire is the version of yourself that is not serving your dreams.
Powerful.
And so you have to change who that person is. If that friend of yours didn't show up for you, and then all of a sudden you don't see him for 2 years, they come back in town, and your friends start saying, yeah, you know, that John over there, he's been showing up recently. He's changed a lot. He's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And then so you talk to John, and all of a sudden he shows up when he says he's going to show up. He starts doing these things that he says he's going to do. Would you consider that maybe that person has changed, and maybe you're open to trusting them? You would, right?
Maybe, yeah.
It's the same thing with yourself. You have to start small. I was on a call today. I do these free business roasts on my YouTube channel.
Oh, which is great. If you guys haven't followed Dan Henry on YouTube, make sure you follow him, okay?
And so what happened was this guy comes on. Now, keep in mind, I used to charge like $25,000 for just like 6 hours of one-on-one consulting and coaching, right? Well, these are free. I just pick people. So this guy comes on and he's like all groggy, and I'm like, bro, did you just get up? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, so you have this opportunity to get direct coaching for an hour from an 8-figure entrepreneur, something I would have loved to have when I was on the come up. And you woke up 10 minutes ago? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, bro, it's 9 a.m. Are you in Malaysia or something? And he's like, no, I'm in Missouri. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You want to be a millionaire, right? He says, yeah. I said, millionaire, do you think millionaires get up at 9 a.m., bro? Day's half over at 9 a.m. It's half over. Okay, all the people that are going to annoy me and distract me, they start waking up up around 9 or 10 a.m. That's the brilliant thing about getting up at 4:35 in the morning is all the people who are going to annoy you, who are going to drag you down, they're asleep during that time. You should be up. You're on this call expecting to be a millionaire. You can't even get up in the morning. You know, and that's the thing is you got to start small. Get up early. Get to the gym every day. You know, do something small. Stop eating crap. Stop eating sugar. Do something to contribute to your life. And over time, you can do something bigger and something bigger and something bigger. And eventually you can do something huge. That's the point.
That's
hey, you guys, I mean, this is a profound insight, okay, from eight-figure entrepreneur himself, right? If you guys just from this first question, if you feel that you receive value, give us number one down below, okay? Number one down below. Let's give Dan Henry some support. Give us number one down below, okay?
I just gotta say on behalf of all Wealth Warriors, me, Daniel, I just want to say thanks for coming on, man. Honestly,
yeah, man.
You've been a huge influence to me and Daniel. We literally binge watch you on a nonstop basis, man. We just jumped into your brand.
Am I that interesting?
You are, man. Me personally, I love the way you talk and your copy is just insane. Like,
oh
Thank
yeah,
you, sir.
oh, the way you talk is
the
crazy.
confidence in yourself. That's where I resonate. Is like you make me want to be more confident in myself, just the way you talk on camera, right?
Thank you, sir.
And that's the way it comes across. You actually are out here wanting to help people make a change rather than chasing the freaking dollars. If you guys haven't got Dan Henry's new book, go get that as well. So I'm going to just jump right into the next question, man. This is a big one. And mindset is a big one for me. I'm a huge on mindset, right? It literally, if I didn't change, I used to be a toothless off-highway log truck driver, okay? I'm an ex-junkie, recovering ex-addict for 14 years, right? So I know what it's like to go from the bottom to, I'm not near the top, but just go from the bottom to the ditches to actually get here to be happy.
You're a lot further up than most people, right?
That's the thing. I'm a lot further than I ever thought I would be. Put it that way, right?
What I just heard from you is you kind of had a crummy life. The world shit on you, and from that you rose from the ashes and made something of yourself. That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah, and well, that's my passion. This is my passion now.
But
right?
you know that. But see, that was a massive advantage to you. I often say that people who make it are the people who had the world shit on them so much that they are motivated to change it. It's the people who take the J.C. Penney photos with their family every year, with the white picket fence and the 80 grand a year and the it's just good enough. The world hasn't shit on them enough for them to care to change it. And if you have a decent life, you are in the worst possible position because you are not motivated to change. When you have lost everything and when the world has just absolutely took a steaming pile right on your forehead, that is when you have the motivation to change. When your back is against the wall, when you're backed into a corner, that is when you can change the world. And I feel sorry for anyone who has a decent life because it's way harder to have a great life when you're just not that motivated to make it great.
And that's huge, man. Like that's the thing, the motivation. I have nowhere else better than to go up, right? I've been to the rock bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
You've
That's
been there,
man.
down the rock bottom, right? I know what it's like to be there, and I ain't going back. And that's the motivation.
And I tell people that. I tell people, like, if you are at rock bottom, you are in the best possible position. You should be thankful for that because that is going to motivate you to do a lot more than the person who's just riding it out.
And that was like Daniel. He was $35,000 in credit card debt, sued by freaking American Express or whatever.
Yeah, I was on food stamps. I was on food stamps.
When me and him met each other, we were broke. We were broke. Yeah. We were struggling. We felt like failing fathers, right? Yep. We did not. We were in the worst possible position, right? I was hauling logs. I was making good money, but I was still not seeing my family, still living paycheck to paycheck, right? And I was not getting that family time that I wanted when I figured I'm going to just jump in this because this is a big one I want to jump in. Dan, you've highlighted the importance of mindset in achieving success, especially in making $1 million in a day. Can you dive deeper into a pivotal moment or experiences that led you to your transformation from doubting your abilities to firmly believing in the possibilities of such success? How can our audience apply those lessons to learn their own mindset transformation?
So, the word mindset is kind of a dirty word, in my opinion, because it's so vague that it's incredibly difficult to unpack what that means. So I tend to try to avoid using that word. And what I'd rather say is there are two versions of yourself, okay? There is the mediocre version and there's the millionaire version. version. And you are by default the mediocre version. Why? Because you went to school. What is school? Let me ask you this, Nathan. Do you know why there are school bells in school? Do you know why they exist?
To remind you? I don't know.
They exist because in the Industrial Revolution, we needed more factory workers. So what happens when a factory worker hears a bell? Where do they go? They go to the assembly line. Okay. So they came up with the idea to put bells in school to train people. When the bell rings, go to class. So that when you get out of school, when the bell rings, go to the assembly line. Everything school is designed to teach you how to be mediocre, because mediocre people make other people millionaires. And you, by default, because of what you learned as a child, you are designed. The way you think is designed to keep you mediocre, to support the machine, to support the system, okay? To support this game. The people that make the rules of the game, they decide what is taught in school so that you stay mediocre. What you have to do is you have to learn the rules of the game if you want to become the millionaire version of yourself. Because if you don't know the rules of the game, you can't win the game. But once you know the rules of the game, you can win. And so you have to start thinking like the millionaire version. Think of a version of yourself 5 years from now. I told this guy on this call today, I said, you're rich in 5 years. You got everything you want in life. That version of you, what time does that person get up? He's like 4:30 a.m. How many books per week on business does that version of you read? And he says, probably 2 books. 2 books. Okay. How often does that version of you keep promises to yourself? All the time. Great. What time do you get up now? 9 a.m. How many business books do you read per week now? 0. How many times do you break promises to yourself? All the time. So if you want to become the millionaire version of yourself, you have to understand what that person looks like, their behaviors and how they think, and then you just start behaving like that person. And the quicker you behave like that person, the quicker you get the things that that person gets as a result of behaving that way. The truth is, most people try to figure out how to make $1 million, when in reality, you need to become the person that deserves $1 million.
Oh.
You need to become a millionaire before you even see the first million.
Yes, exactly. You need to say, I am not mediocre. I am a millionaire. You need to wake up every day. You need to pound your chest and you need to say, I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. Because there is this psychological phenomena called commitment to consistency. Okay. If you read about it in the Robert Cialdini books, they did a study. There was this gym, I believe it was a gym, and people were coming out and they had a booth set up where they were signing people up for surveys. The offer was fill out this free survey and you could win a zip lining tour. And so as people walked out, they said, would you like to fill out this survey to win a free ziplining tour? And people were like, nah. The conversion rate was very low. Then they said one question before they asked the next group of people. They said, do you consider yourself an adventurous person? And everybody said yes, because who doesn't want to consider themselves an adventurous person? Then they asked, would you like to fill out a free survey on winning a free ziplining tour? And when they did that, the conversion rate was much higher because people couldn't stand the idea that they had committed. They had claimed the identity of being adventurous, and then they would do something that goes directly against that commitment. And so if every day you say to yourself, I am a millionaire, I am the person that gets up early, I am the person that doesn't watch the Kardashians and talk about sports and play fantasy football and do a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter. I am the type of person that does things that matter. I'm the type of person that builds things. I am a creator. I am the type of person that solves problems, doesn't create or perpetuate them. Then as you go through life, when you don't create solutions, when you don't solve problems, when you create them, when you don't get up early, when you waste your time watching stupid shows or playing little dumb games, you feel bad, as you should, because you are not being consistent with your commitment to how you view yourself. And if it bothers you long enough, you will change and you will become that person, that millionaire version of yourself. And you know what happens when you commit to becoming that version of yourself? You get $1 million. That's how.
Oh, okay. Before they ask you the next big question, okay, I want to ask you guys, audience, how many of you, just like me, just had that light bulb moment? Okay, come up. If you feel that light bulb moment, drop in a comment, give us a boom. Okay, give us that boom moment. Okay. I also want to go deeper on the question. So then, I see audience is asking about like your experience, right? Like when IRS knock on your door, when you deliver pizza for 7 years, when you saw water bottle on the side of the street, right? So at one point of the time, you were just like us, regular people, right? And what's that?
I'm still like you. I'm
that
just
you
a regular
realized this?
person who didn't quit. I'm still you.
That's it. That's all it is.
What made you change from pizza delivery boy to become a millionaire?
Before you answer that, I just want to throw it out there. We got a little bit in common. You used to deliver for Pizza Hut. I used to manage a Pizza Hut.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I actually got fired for throwing a staff party, and pepperoni ended up 3 blocks away from the store. Did that
I
for
remember
9
those
months.
parties. Yeah, I remember those parties. Well, look, man. Here's what it is. Okay. The what will force you to change is when you are absolutely sick and tired of how things are. And the truth is, if you're not willing to change, you really aren't that sick of it yet. When you're let's put it this way. Have you ever experienced a moment where your boss, like I remember when I used to work for this company where I had to do these trade shows and I had to sell pots and pans at Sam's Club. And I had to drive 2 or 3 hours to the store, get a hotel, be to the store by 6 a.m. So I had to get up at 3 or 4. I had to set up this booth and by 6:30 be ready to sell. The store would close at like 9 o'clock at night. So I'm there literally like 15 hours. And every single day I woke up, I looked at the clock and it said 3:30 a.m. And I did not want to do it. I did not. You know how like when you have something that you really truly don't want to do, but you know you have to do it. And so you develop the patience to do it. And even though I didn't want to do that, I developed patience. I had the patience to go do it. And most of us have the patience to make someone else rich, to do something for someone else. But when it comes time to sit down and instead of watching the TV to relax, you instead read a book on how to make money, or you instead go to the gym, or you instead do something to make yourself rich, you don't have the patience for that. Isn't it funny how we consistently exercise patience to help others and to make others rich, but we don't exercise the patience to make ourselves rich? And the truth is that you have that patience. You have that in you because you've already demonstrated that you can do it for someone else. The day you become rich, the day you become a different person is the day you decide to use that patience for yourself. That's the day.
Jesus, this is powerful.
Where you choose to put your patience determines where your progress is. Your progress is determined by where you choose to put your patience. And so most of you, all of you have already exercised and shown that you have what it takes because you have what it takes to make someone else rich. Now you need to choose to do that same thing to make you rich.
Boom.
Boom.
And that the one turning point, what was it for me, man, was when my freaking daughter came up to me and said, "Daddy, why do you work so much?" That was what turned the point for me, right? Like literally, I didn't see them. I literally lost the first 6 years of my daughter's life because I was working 12 to 15 hours a day making somebody else rich.
For me, you know what it was? It was Gupta. I got this delivery and it was at the very edge of our delivery zone. I grabbed the pizza. I go to this guy's house. His name was Gupta and he lived on the 15th floor. Well, the elevator in his building had been broken for years. They never fixed it. So I had to literally walk up 15 flights of stairs while it was about negative 16 degrees outside in Chicago. I walk up the stairs to give this guy his pizza. Well, unfortunately, I forgot the 2-liter of Coke because they didn't put it on the order. So the guy makes me, and my manager makes me drive all the way back to the store, get the 2-liter, drive all the way back, walk up. I've now walked up and down and back up 15 flights of stairs to give this guy his friggin' 2-liter. And the dude stiffs me. And that was the day I said, why on earth would I have the patience to walk up 15 flights of stairs and back down twice in negative 16-degree weather, but I don't have the patience to read a book on business every night. I don't have the patience to go to the gym and make myself healthier. I don't have the patience to do the things that will make me rich. That was the day I decided I needed to put my patience somewhere else.
Powerful, yeah. So for those of you, okay, if you, after today, you gonna look at your life in a different perspective. You're gonna exercise your patience into something for your brighter future, right? Give us number 5 down below, okay? Nate, carry on.
So we're gonna jump right into these because we got 2 more questions. We gotta get these out, and then we're gonna jump right into your offer here. So, Dan, you've emphasized the significance of having the right mindset over tactics and mechanics. For many, tactics are tangible and easier to grasp, while mindset shifts can be more abstract. How do you balance between imparting tactical knowledge in your mastermind and cultivating the right mindset in your students? What actionable steps can our audience take to prioritize and develop their own millionaire mindset?
Yeah, so here's the thing is most people have this really jacked up belief that the secret to winning, the secret to success is learning the right tactics and the right strategy. And if you're in the internet marketing game, it's like, oh, is it a webinar? Is it a challenge? Is it a book? Is it a this? Is it a that? Blah, 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 blah. And the truth is that there are certain people out there that no matter what tactic they use, it always works. And then there are people who, no matter what tactic they use, it never works. And that is because the things that make those tactics work is called your pain tolerance. See, I had an unfair advantage that helped me become a millionaire online. And I'm going to admit it because most of these gurus, they absolutely will not admit to you when they have an advantage because they want to tell you it's easy so that you'll buy their stuff. Well, I'll admit to you that I had an advantage, and here was the advantage. Before I ever got online, I owned an Italian ice business. I owned a cotton candy business. I owned an airbrush tattoo business. I owned 2 bars and restaurants. I had a bunch of brick and mortar businesses. And I remember driving out to a carnival in a Chevy, an 89 Chevy Blazer. And I'm driving down to set up my booth. And this guy is driving opposite of me with a trailer, a camper. And you know how the bedrooms of the camper, they extend out? Well, this guy forgot to retract it. It was extended out. Drives past me, smashes into my Chevrolet, even though I was trying to go in reverse. And I'm honking at him like, dude, totals my Chevrolet, okay? Totals my Blazer. So now I can't, and there was no Uber back then. So I couldn't get to my hotel. And I was out in the middle of Collier County. And so I had to sleep in my tent. Well, that night, Carney comes up to me with a bottle of Black Velvet whiskey, which is a $5 bottle of whiskey. I do not recommend, nor do I recommend any alcohol. So I had nothing else to do. So I sit here with this Carney and drink alcohol and drink this Black Velvet whiskey all night and end up passing out. By the way, I learned a lot about the carnival business. Apparently, most people who work in the carnival are people who have a warrant out for their arrest, and that's why they work in the carnival, because they move around a lot, okay? That was
I worked in the carnival for a year.
There you go, okay? All right. And so I pass out. I wake up with the worst hangover of my life. There's people stepping over me. It's like 9 a.m. I crawl back to my booth. A bug of some Floridian sort had bit the back of my heel. And over the next 2 days, I developed this massive infected wound and my foot blew up the size of a football. So here I am with my foot up in the air, elevated. I'm literally airbrushing children for 20 bucks a piece. While my foot is up, I looked like a carny at that point. And I'm just the worst possible, like the most possible pain you could imagine for BS, bad things happening, and I got through it. And as those things happened to me, my pain tolerance would go up. When I owned a bar and restaurant, I had police officers come in my bar and expected free drinks. And one thing you'll know about me is I don't give things away for free. I don't give anybody anything for it. My employees didn't even get free drinks. They got half price, but they would ring it in. And I didn't give nothing away for free, okay? You paid like everybody else. Well, the cops didn't like that. So they would come and they would give me crap constantly. They would say my music was too loud when it wasn't. They would just constantly. So imagine that you own this bar, you've invested $200,000 into this bar, you're trying to grow this business, and the cops, because you don't give them free drinks, they make your life hell. And you know how like when somebody asks something of you that you really don't owe them, and then you don't give it to them, and then they try, because of that thing that you didn't give them, they try to make your life harder. Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, yeah,
this is what would happen in my business. So I'm going to be 100% honest with you. When I started an online business and it was like, oh, my offer didn't convert in the first 5 minutes. Oh, my email software wasn't set up right. Oh, my first Facebook ad didn't make me a millionaire in 10 minutes. Oh, I got on 10 sales calls and they said no. I was just like, this is great. I just try again. Like the level of pain was so low compared to what I went through in the real brick and mortar world that it was effortless for me to make money online, because any challenge that was thrown at me, any tactic, any technique, technique, I dominated because the pain to learn how to do that thing was so astronomically lower than what I had to deal with coming up as an entrepreneur in the real world that it was easy to me. And so what I tell these entrepreneurs, I said, if you have had a 9-to-5 job, and I hate to say this, if you have a 9-to-5 job, you are in the easiest of the easiest of the easy mode. Your boss is the one on hard mode, because your boss, guess what? You get a paycheck no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter how bad you perform, you get a paycheck. He doesn't. That guy, if he doesn't perform, he doesn't get a paycheck. Plus, he works more than you. Plus, he has more responsibility than you. Plus, he risks everything to put this out. You're just risking 8 hours your day, which in the long run is fucking nothing. You have risked nothing. And so when you come out of the 9-to-5 world into the game, into the online game, and these little teeny tiny things, oh, my offer didn't convert, oh, this didn't convert, you think it's this big painful thing, and so you quit, and you don't see it through. You don't persevere. You don't sit down and read and learn because you think it's too hard because it didn't work right away. And if it didn't work right away, that means something must be wrong, because in your job, no matter what you did, you got that paycheck every week. You were trained to be complacent. You were trained to, oh, if I don't get an instant reward, something must be wrong. And so now you go into this, and guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Most gurus will tell you making money online is easy because they want to sell you something. It's not that. It's easy because it's fucking easy. Go own a restaurant. Like, go do that. Go deal with some bartender coming in 2 hours late to open it and telling you, oh, my boyfriend got mad at me and he threw stuff, and then the cops called. Get a better boyfriend. I don't give a shit. Open the store. Okay. Like, and then you got to deal with that over and over and over and over and over. And then you tell me when your friggin' webinar doesn't convert, or you don't make money on your first email, that you're in pain, that life's tough. It's not tough. You just have no tolerance for pain. So here's how you solve it. Here's how you create the tolerance, because you will never be able to succeed unless your tolerance for pain is high. Okay. Here's what you do. You inject pain into your life slowly and artificially, meaning you get up at 5 a.m. Why? Because it's painful to get up at 5 a.m. You stop eating sugar. You stop eating crap. Why? Because it's painful to eat good. I don't care if you need to lose weight or not. Do it anyway. You go to the gym every day. Why? Because it's painful. Okay. You read books every day. Why? Because it's painful. You get rid of your bullshit friends that are go-go dancers, strippers, and idiots who don't want to friggin' level up, and you don't do, oh, well, you know what? It's a time. No. Low quality people are low quality people. Okay. Because they've made low quality choices, period. And if you hang around them, if you hang around bullshit friends, you will be bullshit, period. Okay. And so that's a painful thing. Well, this friend was with me when I went through my hardest time. Yeah. That's what a friend's supposed to do. That's the minimum standard for a friend. Doesn't make him a good friend. It just makes him get in the door. So you get rid of people in your life who are dragging you down and not pulling you up, who are not supporting you, who are saying, oh man, don't do that. Come out and drink with us. Oh man, don't do that. Oh, big boss man now. Oh yeah. No, those are not your friends. Those are people who receive dopamine from you. That's it. That is painful. So if you don't have a painful life, make it painful. Make it painful.
Boom.
Powerful.
That's powerful. You want to know what's painful? Fucking waking up on this in the streets, fucking high on drugs, not knowing where the hell I was.
And that's why you made it.
That was painful.
That's why you made it. Yeah. That's why you made it.
So, Daniel, you got one more question for
him.
I
have one more question, okay?
We can't keep Dan here all day, even though I'd love to keep him here all day. I could freaking pick your brain. This is exactly why I am a huge fan of yours, Dan, is because you're so blunt and honest. I'm very blunt. I'm not a fluff kind of guy. I like straight to the point, no bullshit, right? That's why a lot of people
look, there's enough bullshit, okay? There's enough bullshit. So why do you need me to give you bullshit?
Exactly.
Right?
That's why I resonate so much.
Go sip crumpets and tea and all this and learn how to make money with all these heart and soul people, or you know, when you're done with that and it doesn't work and you're done being pampered, have somebody who's gone through the trenches, who knows what it's like, give you the real, because reality is reality. Facts don't care about your feelings, right? If you're not, like, look, same thing in the fitness industry, okay? If you're fat, it's because you eat like shit and you don't work out. The end. That is the reality. Every offer, every weight loss program, every workout program is simply some version of that, designed to trick you into eating better and getting off your ass and working out. At the end of the day, eat better and work out and you will lose weight. The end. But because people don't want to do that because it's hard, they have to package it in a way that makes it sound like something else. But see, when you achieve $1 million mindset and not a mediocre one, you don't need all that stuff. You just do the thing that is required to do because you become the person that deserves it. And the person that deserves it just does it. They just do what's needed to be done to make it happen.
Powerful, powerful. So yeah, I have next question to be asked, okay? If you guys, for the audience, let's take it in, okay? If you are taking it in, writing down notes, give us number 7 down below, okay? And before I ask my last question, next question, I also want to let you guys know and also let Dan know, right? Last year, before we launched our own coaching, right? I was actually at the Funnel Hacking Live, and I was actually going live with Nate at Funnel Hacking Live, and I saw you. Bunch of people line up waiting to talk to you, waiting to interview you. Last year when I saw you, I was too shy. I was afraid. I didn't have the ball to walk up to you to introduce myself. But this year, we actually sit together, do the interview. So I just want to let everybody know, if you have a dream, do it. Go out there, chase it, okay? It's going to happen. Now, Dan, next question for you. So with the success you have achieved, right? Many would feel that they have reached the pinnacle. And but as someone who constantly breaks that ceilings, okay? You constantly go higher, right? Breaks that ceilings. What's the next impossible goal that you have set for yourself? I know that you have a couple projects going on, right? How do you envision and scaling your current business model to achieve your next big goal?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I made a real big mistake. And see, I used to just know how to like make money, right? And I would teach people to make money. And I've always been very good at explaining to people how, because what is making money, right? What is being an entrepreneur? It's solving problems most people are unwilling to solve and getting overpaid for it. That's what it is. You're solving a problem and you're getting paid a ton of money, more than most people at their job, because you're willing to solve a problem that they're just not willing to solve. And whether you own your own product or whether you are an affiliate marketer, you are picking a person that has a problem and you are getting their attention and you are guiding them to the solution and you're profiting from that. It doesn't matter if it's your product or somebody else's product. It's the same thing. You're getting clients, okay? And so what happened to me was I did not understand what happens when you become successful because I didn't really nobody really guided me. I had to learn this the hard way. I made millions of dollars, over 30 million at getclients.com. And I got bored. I got bored of teaching people how to make money. And so I started doing other things. I started getting into other businesses and they just did not work out. They made money. Like I had several companies that made $1 million, but the amount of work I was doing was more, the amount of profit was less, and it wasn't fulfilling. And so I started just kind of falling apart, man. I went against my values. I got divorced and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself. So I ended up going from this very family values driven person who, because I was so bored, they say that boredom is, or idle hands are the devil's playground. And so I end up getting into this very toxic down spiral where I go out and I'm partying, I'm drinking. I never used to drink. I'm hanging out with people that I normally would never associate with. I bought a yacht and I've got 10 of these girls on the yacht who, their professions were not exactly school teachers. Okay. And I'm just like, it may have seemed fun from the outside, but it was very unfulfilling. And this went on for 2 years until one day I did the same thing I did years ago when I got rich. I said, you know what? I'm sick of feeling this way. I'm sick of feeling out of alignment with who I believe myself to be. And so I sold the yacht. I sold everything. I stopped hanging out. I stopped drinking. I stopped going out with hanging out with friggin' strippers and go-go dancers and women who have their ass hanging out everywhere and their titties out. And just I stopped dating women who I had absolutely no intention of marrying, because to be honest with you, I'm sorry, but if you go out with me and you look like, if 50 years ago you look like a prostitute, then you still look like a prostitute to me, and I'm not going to marry you, period. Okay. Yep. And I had to get honest with myself about that. I had to stop wasting these women's time, stop hanging, and I cleaned my life up, quit drinking. And then I started, I took a piece of paper and I wrote down, what do I want out of life? What do I want? What do I want? And when I wrote it out, what I realized was I wanted what I already had. And so I called up my ex-wife and I said, hey, we got to work this out. And she told me, Dan, I would rather light myself on fire than remarry you. And you know, because my pain tolerance was so high, I kept trying and I kept trying for a year. And a year later, I got a text in my phone from my wife that said, all right, Dan, I'll remarry you. And we got remarried, and she's sitting out there right now fixing lunch for our 5-year-old son.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Well,
That's the thing. When you have a high pain tolerance, you can make anything in your life happen. And you can't look, if you make a mistake, you have to forgive yourself for that mistake, because when you make the mistake, you pay for it. But when you keep paying for it past what's due, you're paying interest that you don't have to pay. And so once you've paid your debt, now it's time to fix it. And so what I would say, I don't even remember the original question, but what I would say, what was the original question? So I can tie that in.
It's a future project, but we are loving your story.
So here's my future project. Here's my future project. Here's the moment that I realized what I need to do. I was at FHL, Funnel Hacking Live, and I had 3 things happen to me that changed my life. Number 1, I had at least 200 people shake my hand and say, Dan, I became a millionaire because of you. 200 people in one conference. Like, picture, like that sounds ridiculous, but if you've been around for a decade, it's really not hard to think about, you know? And I had one guy come up to me and say he was making 500 grand a month because of me. I had another guy come up to me and say he was making $1 million a month because of me. I had 3 people come up to me and say they were making $2 million a month because of my program. And I had one guy come up to me, him and his wife, and they teach e-commerce, and they told me that they were making $3 million a month, and the only program they ever took was mine.
Bam!
And at that moment, I go and I sit in the green room, and I sit down with a friend of mine, Bart, a friend of mine, and he says, Dan, you are the only person I know that is the best in the world at what you do, and you don't do it. And it was at that moment I realized, I was like, man, I had a gift. Like, how arrogant is it to think that you are this broke friggin' mess of a person? I mean, I delivered pizza for 7 years. I figured out a way to make a ton of money. And then I just thought I could just do something random else and do it again. I had a gift. God gave me a gift. And the point is, you need to stay in your gifts. And I hung out with a friend of mine a week later. He came over to my house, and do you know who Ari Ali is?
I saw it from your video.
He was
Jordan
the former president,
Belfort,
president of Jordan Belfort. He's an advisor to a ton of celebrities, the U.S. Ambassador or the U.S. Attorney General. And a buddy of mine paid him for coaching, and he asked him, he said, you've been with all these celebrities, you've been with all these famous people. What is the number one reason why people make it and then lose it all? And he says, that's easy. They figure out something that makes a ton of money, and then they do something else. And so what I intend to do is go back to the thing that I've always been amazing at. And that is simplifying how to make friggin' money with a business. And I do that in Get Clients University. And this time, my goal is to provide an amazing educational system that is affordable, that can help everybody, and that you will have higher ticket options as well. But I want to grow our member site to like Andrew Tate levels. You know, he's got like thousands of members. So that's what I want to do. I want Get Clients University to be the biggest membership site for people who are trying to get clients online, trying to make money online. And here's the crazy part. When I finally doubled down and decided to go back into my gifts, you see it. You see every day the numbers go up. We have like 650 members now.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
650 paid members.
Hey, man, I'm addicted to that group already.
It is crazy. So how can we check it out? Okay, because I'm super excited to share this with our audience. Okay, because we do have a couple students that we know of that they actually went through some of your training, super powerful. And I also tap into your webinar training. That's how we launched our program at the first place. And before, right, I know some of the information that you are sharing before you charge 20 grand, 50 grand for it. And this year you just share it at a very affordable price for everybody.
Yeah. So what I did was I had all these programs, the programs that people were walking up to me and shaking my hand and telling me I'm making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. And I used to charge, 10 grand a piece. I think one of them was 20 grand. I took all that and I put it into, well, not all of it. I took some of it and I put it into a membership site. And what we do in the membership site is not only do you get access to those programs without having to pay friggin' like $10,000 and whatnot, but you also get a live call every month where I come on and I teach for several hours. I teach you one new way to get clients every month. Plus, we have this community where you get points for interacting and being helpful to other community members. And as you get those points, you unlock more stuff. Like when you get to level 1, what's really cool is you unlock the 30-minute personal. Yeah. You unlock the 30-minute personal brand, which is this document that you use AI, you fill it out, you answer the questions, and it builds you an amazing personal brand based off a brand that is already successful in history. And it assigns your brand to that same framework. And in 30 minutes, you have a personal brand that sells. And anytime you put out content or write emails or do anything, you can literally use AI to check what you put out there against your personal brand document to make sure it's on brand and it resonates with your audience. And then we have all this. It's really, really cool. And then of course we're going to be introducing coaching down the line. But Get Clients University right now, it's only $97 a month. It's extremely affordable.
Crazy. That's crazy. Crazy price. Yeah,
crazy. And you get access to all that because again,
that's the craziest thing, man.
Yeah.
You get all the videos before everybody else. That's what I love, man.
Listen. Here's the thing. I made $10 million with a low ticket online course. Then I made about 20 million with high ticket programs and masterminds and events. I want to make another 10 million with now a membership site. And I want to help. And the reason I want to do that is because, look, I want to get back to my gifts. I want to get back to making millions of dollars a month like I used to. We still do, multi 6 figures, but I want to get back to those $1 million months. But I also want to help more people while doing it. So I get what I want. More people get what they want. They can afford it and everybody's happy. And that's what I want to do. And so what we've done is we've created a special link for your audience where they can join and they're going to get some free gifts, some stuff that is just really nice just for joining. The 3 things that you're going to get is, number 1, a large percentage of the money I made, which was sales presentations, which was called webinars. I don't know if you guys know what a webinar is, but it's basically a sales presentation where you teach and then you pitch. And I took the first webinar I did that did 10 million and I took 3.5 hours. I went through slide by slide and I paused it and played it. And I explained what I did in every single slide and why it worked and what I would do differently in today's marketplace. That's called the 8-Figure Webinars Director's Commentary. I'm going to give you that as a free gift for joining. I'm also going to give you a training where I show how I create micro books, because I learned that you can make a lot of money when you write a book, but most people don't read full books or they take forever to read full books. So I learned how to write little pamphlet style micro books that accomplish the same thing. And when I met Grant Cardone, I was at his house playing backgammon. Bastard got me for $2,400. But I asked him, what is the book that's made you the most money? And I don't know why, but he had it in his pocket, which I thought was a little weird. A little weird.
That's why.
Yeah, he pulls it out. He's like, hey, man, it's the Millionaire book, man. You know why I like this, man? Because I wrote all these books and it took me months. And then I wrote this one in 2 hours and it's made me the most money, man. I'm never going to write a full book again, man. I'm just going to write these little mini pamphlets, man. And I was like, light bulb moment. So I have a 1-hour training that teaches you the 4 elements to a micro book and how to write micro books that attract your ideal client, build your brand, build you a big email list. And then the third gift is the Phantom Offer training, which is a 24-minute training that will teach you how to sell people on social media like that. Like you can go get a client right now if you use the Phantom Offer.
That was crazy. That
was crazy. Yeah, and you'll see people in the group like, I got a client, I got leads. So I'm going to give you all 3 of those gifts today if you just try us out even for a month. But I know you won't leave. And look, if you decide to cancel after a month, keep it. But I know you won't, because once you're a part of this community, you will not want to leave. Okay. And you can go to getclients.com/wealth warrior. Also, I am considering, because you guys are affiliate marketers, right? Like that's your whole group.
Yeah.
Who here would
Most
like
of them,
who here would like to make recurring revenue every month, promoting an amazing community that really helps people, really makes an impact, and has the real knowledge? Like, who would like to promote that?
Give us number 2 down below if you want to promote Dan Henry's Get Clients University.
I'll consider creating an affiliate. I made a special link for you guys, but I'll consider opening an affiliate program possibly to your people. We'll talk about it and see. But who here believes that they have extraordinary potential?
Think about hands if you see yourself potential, right?
Give yourself a 5. Give yourself a 5.
5.
Here's the thing you got to understand. There was this violin player. I read this story about this violin player, world-class violinist. And he had a gig in New York at this like really prestigious theater house. And he goes to New York, and the night before, for fun, he decides to go down to the subway. Keep in mind, this is a world-class violinist. He goes down to the subway and he plays violin for people on the subway. He busks. He opens his case and he played for 4 hours. And in 4 hours, 4 people stopped and 1 person gave him $10. The next night, he goes and plays at the theater house, and 1,000 people attended. They all paid $100 to see him, and they gave him a standing ovation at the end. And what does this prove? It proves that extraordinary people can only thrive in extraordinary environments.
Oh.
So if you believe yourself to be extraordinary, and you know in your heart that you need to be in an extraordinary environment, I have that environment of 650 extraordinary people all trying to do what you want to do. And I will be happy to welcome you into that community. And you can get into that community by going to getclients.com/wealth warrior.
Awesome. And I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. I love the community already. I'm addicted to it, man. There's wins in there. People are sharing their experiences. And the best part about it is people in there from all different types of niches.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just make money online or anything. I see people in there in the insurance biz and real estate, right? I see people friggin' doing their own products and stuff, right? This community is insane. I'm already hooked on it, right? As you can tell, I'm a big fan. What's one advice you'd give to those newbie entrepreneurs? Those newbie entrepreneurs are just getting started in an industry who just lack that, maybe that self-confidence in themselves. What would you give advice to those type of people who just want this, but just maybe they don't have that switch yet?
Well, you know, confidence comes from competence. You know, if you get into a boxing ring and you've never trained boxing a day in your life, and the other guy's been training for 10 years, and you don't have the confidence that you're going to be able to survive, well, you're right to not have that confidence. You're going to get your head kicked off, okay? Period. So you go learn how to box, you build the confidence, you build the competence around boxing, and that gives you the confidence. If you train boxing for 10 years, would you not feel better in that ring? All right. And so whenever I tell people about this, I like to tell a story about almond milk. When I come home one day and my wife has this big jug of almond milk, huge jug on the counter. Now I drink 2 to 3 protein shakes a day because I lift a lot of weights. Well, I was spending $150 to $200 a month in almond milk. Because you know, the thing of almond milk is like $6 because I get the
dude. It's like $10 up here.
Oh, well, then you would have been spending even more.
Just a 2-liter milk carton.
Yeah. So I come home, I say, "What's this?" So she looks at me, she says, "That is almond milk." And she goes into the fridge and she takes one of my cartons and she's like, "You know what this is?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "This is your store-bought almond milk. This has all this gum and this chemicals in it that they put in it. And this costs $6 and you spend like $200 a month on this." I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't know, you know? And she says, "Well, this is homemade almond." She picks up this machine. She's like, "I got this on Amazon for $50. It takes a little teeny palm of almonds to make this big jug. It's just pure almonds and water." And so not only is it like 20 cents for this jug compared to like $6, but it's better for you and it's pure. And I go, wow. And you know what? She was right. I had been wasting $200 a month on almond milk and drinking a bunch of chemicals I didn't need to drink. Why? Because I simply didn't know you could make homemade almond milk. And the principle here is that most of the pain in our lives and the suffering comes from things we simply do not know. Now, in that case, it wasn't a lot of pain. It was $200 a month. But think about your business. Think about your income. Think about your money. When you don't know how to make money and you don't know how to grow your business, the pain could be enormous. Your biggest expense is the things you do not know. Because if you don't know how to make $1 million, you're losing $1 million a year. And so what I say to people is be absolutely relentless, be aggressive, and be unreasonable about learning things that you need to know to make things that you want to happen. If the only thing you can do is be extraordinarily aggressive and unreasonable about getting the knowledge and learning the things that you need to know to succeed, you will beat everybody. And my aim is, in everything I do, in my content, in my YouTube, in Get Clients University, my goal is to teach you a bunch of stuff you do not know about making money so that you can remove massive amounts of pain from your life. And that's why I do what I do.
Boom. Powerful. Thank you so much for coming on, Dan. I mean, so much tremendous value. Consider the person who was too shy to walk up to you last year. Now we can talk about working together. beautiful things. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nate, I let you do the ending.
So I just want to say thank you, man, for coming on. I wanted to say thank you on behalf of our audience, on behalf of me and Daniel. I'm a huge fan. You know, clearly, man, I appreciate you coming on. Your time, man, very valuable. I understand that, man. And for those who don't know, I'm hoping to see you at Funnel Hacking Live in Las Vegas 2025, right? Me and Daniel are going for our 2CC award ourselves. But anyways,
Awesome.
Guys, we are so pumped. Not only did we invest in Dan Henry's AI bots too, so we're going to bring that on in another time once we bring some more stuff up. So we'll let you guys in on that. We're actually implementing it into our system very soon. I'm pumped about that one. Dan, I want to say thank you on behalf of all the Wealth Warriors. Everybody else, you know, we have another Rise with the Wealth Warriors every week, every Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you guys next week. I want to say thank you, Daniel, and thank you for everybody tuning in today. Dan, did we have a good show? And if you guys didn't get knowledge and value bombs from this show, you are freaking sleeping. Go rewatch it.
All right. Awesome.
Cool. Sounds good. Thank
All
you
right.
guys. See you guys next time.
See y'all later.